Delphi, Indiana, a small woodsy town north of Indianapolis, became the site of two of the most notorious murders in recent memory. Originally dubbed the Snapchat murders, local teens Abby Williams and Liberty German caught their killer on video just before being lured to their deaths. So why did it take 5 years to figure out who was responsible? That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details
That has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
And hello, Deado.
Booyah. Look
And
who's back.
Deadettes.
And Deadettes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now we're adding the Deadettes.
They're like Raisinets,
Yeah.
except dead.
We're going to have the Deado dancers at some point. They're going to be dancing around us.
Perfect. What is going on, everybody? My name is Kyle Ploof.
My name is Mark Mulkerron.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
And we are back in studio where we should be talking about the Snapchat murders, which happened in Delphi, Indiana. This is going to be a real creepy one. So heads up to you two and heads up to everybody at home if you do not want to hear about children being murdered and or
It sounds so bad when you say it like that.
sexually assaulted.
Oh, my God.
Turn it off now, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, boy.
And what about the people that do want to hear about this?
Well, they're fucking sickos like us.
Yeah,
so
they're going to get put on a list. Anyone who's still around right now, you're going to be on a list.
There are a number of people in this story that are on a list. So,
Yeah.
you know what? You guys might too.
And we have our own list.
We do. The shit list.
And the
And?
Pop Culture Flash.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's not the list.
Yeah.
I never considered it a list. It's not like Schindler's List or something.
Yeah, it sort of cheapens it to call it a list.
Yeah.
It's more like a time machine into the past.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
Which is where we're going to go.
Let's go.
To February 13th, 2017. Okay, the day of February 13th, 2017, fellas. What was going on in the world of media?
Lucky number 13, and not quite Valentine's Day yet.
No. Day
before.
With us knowing dates and holidays.
What does it all mean? I don't know. Let's see what's going on in music. Number 2. All right, you two have to guess. It's a pale British guy who sings romantic ballads.
Harry Styles.
No.
British, isn't he Irish?
Oh.
Harry Styles is Irish?
No, the actual guy that he's talking about.
Who is it?
I messed that up.
Ed Sheeran.
Wait, Ed Sheeran's Irish?
I thought so.
He is
not?
pale. He's got like a
He's
dead eye.
Pale and ginger with a dead eye.
Yeah.
And
he's got a dead eye.
he guest starred on Game of Thrones and fit right in.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to put makeup on him.
Yeah. Why was he even there? That was a weird part. Anyway.
I
but,
don't know.
Yeah.
So the song is called The Shape of You.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
Oh, it's that song. That was a big one, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's all we have to say about that.
Oh, he is from the UK.
Yeah, he is. I knew
my
he was
God.
British. He
Wow.
was in the British Army.
Well, he looks Irish.
Oh, wow.
He's got red hair.
Oh, they all look the same.
That's
huh?
right, they
Oh,
do.
Man, look at this guy.
Put me on a list.
Kyle could not wait to correct me with that one.
Yeah.
I always just assumed. you know?
Well, it's usually Alejandro correcting people. And
Yeah.
It's good to see it goes both
it
ways.
feels good.
Oh, yeah.
Ruin it while you can.
Mark would never dare correct somebody.
That's
Glass
true.
houses, pal.
Yeah.
All right, number 1. Bad and Bougie by Migos and Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah.
I love that song. Bad and bougie.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. Or don't.
Or we can go on to movies.
We could.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, movies. We're still at February 13th, 2017. The number 2 movie at this time, 50 Shades Darker, which I believe is the sequel to 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but it wasn't the original title, which was 50 Shades Bigger and Blacker.
Nice.
They went with darker.
Kyle, one of Kyle's locked and loaded
Yeah,
jokes.
that one was pre-written. I will admit that.
Yeah.
That was written in 2017.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Number 1 movie at this time, the Lego Batman movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think Will Arnett plays the
Yes.
Batman. Yeah.
So you have a super high-charged sexual movie with a little kids movie. Bang,
Yeah.
bang, back to back.
Yeah, you watch them right back and forth. It's like Oppenheimer and Barbie coming out, you know?
I mean, I guess it makes sense with today's story, to be honest. But,
oh,
boy.
my God. Kyle's going to keep reminding us how
Yeah.
dour this story is.
I'm just letting people know.
Okay, you guys are having fun right now, but this story we're about to tell is very sad.
Yeah.
Can we play with Legos a little bit longer before we go into this thing?
You can try, but we're going into it right now.
Okay.
So for this story, we are going to Delphi, Indiana, which is north of Indianapolis by like about an hour or so.
I thought it was like, when I heard about the Delphi murders, I thought it was like a cable company or something. I didn't know what it was.
Delphi Cable.
A
Yeah.
sorority house.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's this little town of 3,000 people directly in the north middle of Indiana. This story, we're going to follow Abby Williams and Libby German. They were 13 and 14 years old. They were two best friends that grew up together in Delphi. In mid-February 2017, Delphi schools, for whatever reason, I don't know if this happens in Wisconsin. It certainly didn't happen for me in Massachusetts, but they didn't use, during the school year, the amount of snow days that they predicted to use. So they just gave them a random Monday off.
Wow, because usually at the end of the year they figure that out, and you get like 5 days.
Right.
If you didn't use enough of the snow days, you get out early. Basically.
Yeah, this is like 3.5, 4 months early.
In Wisconsin, we used them all up.
Yeah, that's true too.
We never got a free day.
Yeah.
I thought it was shocking to hear that they're like, oh, it's mid-February, we haven't had as many snow days. Go take a Monday off.
There was always some geek in Massachusetts schools when you're like, you got a snow day. They're like, yeah, but we're going to have to go later in the year.
I'm like,
I don't
shut
care.
up, nerd.
I'd rather go later in the year when it's warmer, okay? Because I don't have to get up at 7 in the morning and scrape my dad's car off while he's beating me.
Yeah, that's true too.
And while you're beating it.
Okay.
Hello.
Wow, let's
All
keep
right.
it clean here,
Hey.
okay? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
my teacher said that too, where he's like, I don't know about you, but I would rather have the day off in June.
Yeah, nerd.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because I go to the beach. Like, you're not going to the beach, guy,
Yeah.
okay? I'm like doing a Dennis Leary bit about this. Okay, buddy, you're not going to the beach, okay? Yeah. We got the bond, right?
So this day, it was unseasonably warm, and the girls wanted to go out and enjoy the weather. So they went to the Monon High Bridge Trail, which is a popular hiking and biking trail that leads to an abandoned wooden railway bridge. This bridge was built in the 1800s, and it was abandoned in the 1880s. So it's been around for a while, and they really didn't do much to update it. So it was like almost like a rite of passage for kids in middle school or high school to be able to cross it and be like, I earned my stripes.
Yeah.
I went over this rickety-ass bridge that's 70 feet in the air. There's no railings. It's literally, you're just walking between wooden ties. Some of them are missing. You have to step over. It's crazy.
It's like that, the train tracks in Stand By Me that they run across, kind
Yes.
of. But that was actually a functional one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that seemed, I always think of how scary that was.
Got to get out of the way.
Got to get out of the way. And yeah, you got to run. And like they were running so fast, but the planks were so far from each other.
Yes.
Like that would scare the hell out of me, just breaking a leg or just having, the train cut me in half.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I'm done with bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just dangerous.
I might be
Yeah.
too.
Golden Gate, Rickety Bridge in Indiana,
Yep.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bo Bridges, I'm done with him.
Yeah, get him out of here. You're on the shit list for no reason, buddy.
And the ones from Madison County.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them too.
No more bridges.
No more bridges.
So Libby, she had an older sister, Kelsey German. She dropped the girls off in the trail parking lot near the highway, which ended up being the parking lot that I went to. not realizing it.
Knowing that, we'll back up, tell the listeners here, you recently took a trip through this area.
Yeah, so I was working. I had to go to New York City for work, and I was driving the whole way. And on the way back, I realized when I was going the northern route, I was going right through Delphi. And so I made sure to stop and get video, which we'll see later in this episode. And I'll give a little bit more context to the bridge, the size of the bridge, the location of, where everything happened, and even going to two of the suspects' homes and showing how far they are from...
You went to the suspects' homes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I did.
He broke in.
Yeah. I feel uncomfortable here.
He's a wanted man, actually.
Yeah. He burned right through the state of Indiana afterwards.
Yeah. So these girls, they're on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Like I said, popular hiking trail that leads to that wooden bridge, which is the Monon High Bridge. And like I said, 70 feet in the air, rickety bridge, could be windy, could be not, but it's still, kids would be like, it's a badge of honor to be able to make it over there and walk the entire thing.
Absolutely. That was fun as a kid to find those.
Yeah.
By our cottage in Michigan, there was this abandoned cabin. Oof. And it was just so fascinating to me because it was all boarded up, and it was so creepy to look inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a thing called the trestle, which was basically, it was kind of a similar thing, but it was a functioning railroad bridge, but everyone would jump off it into this big lake underneath. And that was a rite of passage. You had real balls if you jump off that because it looked spooky.
Yeah. So Abby had never gone. She was the younger one. She was 13 years old. Libby was a year older. She had an older sister who was late teens, early 20s at the time. Well, she was old enough to drive, at least. She dropped the girls off in the parking lot near the highway. And so Libby was showing her what the bridge is all about and taking her on her first trek over it.
Like a nice older sibling does usually, just kind of helps you do something that, is crazy, but everyone does it.
Yeah, so Libby went with her older sister and her friends, and that's the only reason she had ever been over before. At approximately 2:05 p.m., Libby posted photos of the actual bridge just from one side looking like they were about to cross it. And then when they're at the end of it, she posts a photo of Abby walking across it. And within minutes of these photos being posted to Snapchat, a man wearing blue jeans and a blue Carhartt jacket with a hood followed them to the other end of the bridge, and once he caught up to them, ordered them down the hill. They were never seen alive ever again. Ugh. So at this time, obviously nobody knows that anything has happened to the girls, and it wasn't until about 3 hours later that Abby and Libby were supposed to be picked up. Obviously, they never showed. Some family is immediately panicked, freaking out, and some are just don't worry, they'll turn up, it's completely fine. It's two kids in the woods, their phones probably lost power, or they went deeper into another trail and they haven't figured their way out yet, but they'll be fine.
Which would have been more common 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I could see some parents panicking now because this is the age where every kid has a phone.
Yeah.
Back in our day, remember, you'd be gone for 10 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And your parents had no idea where you were.
I was told not to come home till the streetlights came on. You were fine. They didn't want you in the house.
Yeah. Who the hell knows what they were doing in there?
Yeah. What are they doing back there? Yeah, so they never show up. Some of the families freaked out. I don't blame the people in the families that were just oh, they're totally fine. It'll be okay. Obviously in the short term, because the girls didn't mess around like that very often. They didn't really go missing at any time. But this town has zero crime. I'll pull it up right now. The murders, I have it from 2007. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. No murders happen in this town, ever.
That's an even better average than Beverly Hills.
That's what I was going to say. It makes Beverly Hills look like Compton.
Yeah. It makes Beverly Hills look like Gotham City.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no crime that really happens in this town.
But it's easier to police when there's a town of 3,000 people.
Right.
So on percentages, actually, that 1 year, they probably had a more higher percentage murder rate than New York or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. The rate's through the roof on that one.
But
just for 2017.
The kids could have been in trouble another way.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They could have tripped and fell in the water.
Yeah, they could have rolled their ankle, broke their leg, fell, hit their head.
A bear came after them or something?
Yeah, I don't know if there are bears there. Probably, I would guess, if there's woods. But there's no like killer deer around or anything. Like
Yeah.
Cocaine deer.
yeah,
That's coming too. You know that's coming the sequel.
yeah. It just keeps on happening. Some of the family actually did go to the police and they sent out a search party. The police actually did. So that night they had, half the town out there with flashlights looking, screaming their names. Nobody was able to find anything. And finally, like, it was just pitch black out there. And the police, for their safety, it's a very rocky terrain. You could get hurt very easily. They didn't have, the manpower to have lights shipped in and be able to brighten up the entire area.
They could have brought in a chopper or something.
Maybe, or like a bunch of external lights just to light everything up. But they're like, you know what, everybody, please just go home. We'll come back here first thing in the morning, and we're gonna.
But if I'm the
spend all
parents,
day.
though, they're probably there the whole night, just kind of combing through the woods.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had to go home that night and had to try to get some sleep.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
I sincerely doubt that. I mean, they've talked about it. Whether or not they actually fell asleep, they didn't get any rest.
Yeah.
What a massive undertaking that would be.
Yes.
But I imagine it's very long, very country.
Yeah.
And kind
It
of
is.
rough, probably. It's not like,
Yeah.
like a smooth trail where like it's like very open.
Yes. So the next day, February 14th, it's Valentine's Day 2017, there was fog that was super low, like touching the ground. You couldn't see anything. So they had to wait till the sun burnt off all the residual fog. And that wasn't until about 10 a.m. that they were able to start searching again. When the sun burned off all the fog, they went back to it, and within 2 hours and 15 minutes, it was about 12:15, a group of volunteers, which included an uncle of one of the girls, found both girls brutally murdered in what investigators have called a staged crime scene. And we'll get into that a little later, too. What they found was Libby's cell phone, some clothing that was removed from both of the girls, and one unspent bullet between both the girls who were laying on the ground.
What?
Like just a bullet on the ground?
Yeah.
Just an unshot bullet.
Unshot, unfired bullet that was discharged from the gun when it was like cocked. So why are these brutal murders being covered by us? Well, Libby, thinking quickly, recorded the man walking towards them on the bridge on the entertainment platform Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
And the only sound and video that we've gotten that's been released by anyone, because prosecutors and investigators have been so tight-lipped about this story, it was released by the FBI, and I will show exactly what they sent out for people to, keep their eyes open for.
Because Snapchat usually just you trade naughty pictures. Or
Yeah,
something.
and it goes away after an hour. I remember Chris D'Elia got in trouble with that because he didn't think it actually people could screen record on those.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, his face, they were talking
Yeah.
about it on a podcast, and he was like, what?
Yeah, he didn't know you could record a Snapchat video when girls were sending him stuff. What a scoundrel.
Yeah. All right, so this is the only footage that has been released to the public. And so you're not even able to really see him take one step. And it's really not a video that they're showing. They're showing pieces of photos pieced together. It's not the actual fluid video.
So he's not looking down as he's saying down the hill, is he? Because he's
you
like
can't really tell.
hand in his pockets and he's kind of looking down and like he's not even looking at them while he says that.
Yeah.
So he's saying guys downhill?
So what's confusing about it is the audio that they put out there is not in sync with the actual time it happens in the video. So it's been leaked that the video is like between 45 seconds and 2 minutes long. And what it shows is this guy coming towards them, and then one of them saying, like, is he behind me? And then he says, guys down the hill. And then he takes out a gun and it cocks. And one of the girls says, gun. And then they're forced down the hill and they start walking into the woods and it cuts off.
You saw that?
No, they haven't released that to anyone.
But that's
Oh,
what you
that-
read.
But it's been
That's
leaked.
the evidence they have right now.
It's been leaked that is what the entire video is.
Okay.
So it shows more of him and you hear more of him, but for some reason they haven't released it.
And it's blurry. They can't quite make out
It's very blurry.
the guy's face, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this video comes out and people are it starts a manhunt looking for the killer that terrifies this town for 5 years. Goes completely unsolved for that long. Still technically
They have
unsolved.
nothing in this small town. Well, it's assumed maybe the person is from outside of this town that is actually perpetrating this.
Exactly.
But I feel like there could be someone that knows the guy and could identify that jacket.
Yeah.
That's how they got the
right?
Unabomber. His own brother turned him in.
Wow.
But also that jacket. Like
Yeah.
if you suspect, maybe it was Uncle Jim or something.
Same body type. And
Yeah, and he had that blue jacket, but nobody came forward like that.
They had a tip line that people were calling in.
He looks like a cab driver or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the scally cap on for sure
Yeah.
in this sketch.
Yeah, so that's a sketch. And where did that description come from?
So this is the sketch that they released. They didn't say what information they had that determined that this was the sketch.
He looks like a homeless Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's the boss. Yeah, so this is the first sketch that they're like, this is the guy. If you see this guy, let us know. And they have a tip line that's open that, people are, they have the email and the phone lines, and they said that they got like 50,000 tips plus.
It's hard to comb through those because everyone's got, you always got a crazy aunt who's like, I think I know it's the guy down at the store,
Yeah. So
or people flat out lying on those tip lines.
Well, there are people that are like, oh my God, that looks like my brother-in-law. And they're like, where are they from? And they're like, Connecticut. And it's like, have they ever been in Indiana? And they're like,
Yeah.
no, but it just looks like them though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like, Jesus.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Suddenly Kevin Pollak is arrested.
Yeah.
I guess that could be Kevin Pollak. Yeah, as long as he's not showing his baldness.
Yeah, so there's a number of issues with this. The whole strategy of the investigative team, I believe, is ridiculous because, like I said, one of the uncles of the girls is one of the original people that found them. So they started calling everybody being like, the girls are murdered. And so other people from the family went to the police and were like, before they announced it or called anyone in the family, and were like, are the girls dead? We were told that they were already found. And the police were instructed to tell the family, well, you know more than we do then, because we haven't heard that. They are so tight-lipped about everything. They pretend like they don't know what's going on.
Wait, do they...
Keeping it close to the chest.
Wait, are they thinking the family might be involved or something, or some of the family members are?
Maybe.
Isn't that one of the first things that you think of?
It's always inside, yeah.
But back up a little, Kyle. So their uncle found them.
One of the girls, uncle is one
Who
of
was
the,
part of the search party?
Yeah. I mean, everybody was part of the search party.
Okay.
So there was, thousands of people from the town in the woods that day looking for him.
God.
At least hundreds. There were people everywhere combing, and they finally found them. And so one of the uncles is like telling the entire family, and then the police are just like, oh, you know more than we do.
Yeah, because we found the bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, shut up and do your job.
What?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Unofficial suspects. These are suspects in the eyes of the online community. And, the police said he was a person of interest, but never a full-blown suspect. Mr. Ron Logan. Let me bring his picture up.
And this is maybe the guy that looks like the burnt-out cab driver guy?
Well, you tell me.
Who we saw? Okay, well, let's see him.
Greasy Kevin Pollak, look-alike.
So this is Ron Logan. He was the owner of the property that the girls were found on. He had a history of violence against women, according to multiple ex-girlfriends, and a laundry list of DUIs.
Ooh.
On the day of the murders, he was found to have lied about his whereabouts. He told his cousin, if the police come around sniffing, just tell them that you drove your old cousin Ron to an exotic fish store 15 miles out of town, and you dropped me off at 5:30 p.m. And he's like, make sure you tell them that, I was picked up at 2:30.
Well, he could have been also doing other weird stuff. That's the problem with these kind of like lone wolf maniacs in these small towns. Is, they're also doing bizarre stuff outside of this murder.
Yeah. He was found to have left his house after 2:30, which the murders were estimated to happen around 2:13 and between 2:13 and 2:20.
And what time were the snaps?
2:05 and 2:07. And then 2:13 is when he met up with them or cornered them.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know. That guy doesn't look like he's chubby enough to be that guy in the picture. I don't know.
I'll show you something in a second.
Okay.
So he was found to have gone left his house after 2:30. The presumed time of the murders was, shortly before, and he went to a landfill transfer station to drop off some waste that he had. Literally the only times you go to a dump, as someone who goes to a dump on a weekly basis, is when you have construction debris or furniture that you can't bring anywhere else and throw it away. Or you are getting rid of evidence. Like, people do this shit all the time.
So they take it to like a town landfill or a county landfill and just have it. Do they incinerate it right away? Like, is there any protocol to like check?
Some do. Some just bring it to a local landfill. So the transfer station is where you bring your big ass truck full of construction debris or dirt and weeds and stuff from landscaping or furniture that you can't get rid of anywhere else. Everything goes into these big dumpsters, and then within a few hours, they're taken to the landfill and then never seen or heard from again.
Yeah.
But why is he that brazen to go there so soon after the murders?
He probably doesn't know that he's going to get caught.
Okay.
Maybe he could also be like an insider there. Like, he knows how they do things at this landfill, so he knows like it's going to go away right away, or
Yeah.
it's just like the best way to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm just speculating.
Mark, you brought up a good point, because he said he lied about his whereabouts because he was on probation for 4 DUIs, and if they found out that he was driving, he'd go to jail, which he did for a year from 2017 to 2018 for being caught driving. He was caught on camera going to this landfill transfer station, and then like 2 weeks later, he was seen drinking at a local bar and then driving.
So they're going to throw the book at him because he's a suspect in a murder, or was he a suspect already
No,
then?
he was a person of interest. He was interviewed 1 million times. They had evidence against him, but
He owned the property.
he owned the property.
Hey, wait, what does that mean exactly? Because this was a lot of land, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he owned the property that the bridge was on?
He owns this sprawling property that the end of his property comes to the river, which is where they were found, right on the edge of the river. So his property lines go all the way back into that water.
I'm assuming where the railroad was, that is like state property or something.
Yes. And so I'll show you in the later videos, they were found around the bend of this river to where, whoever did this crime knew where they were going. And if you look to the left side of the bridge, if you're walking towards where they were going, it brings you the furthest away from any other trails, and you cannot see around this bend because all the trees are in the way.
So it's assumed that whoever did this probably knew this area very well.
I would say so. Yeah. Because you would never want to put yourself in a fight on a giant bridge or risk putting yourself in a situation where you can't complete your objective, which is obviously killing these girls.
Yeah.
And, put yourself on uneven footing. So he knew as soon as they got past the middle of the bridge, they were done for. He would be able to get them all the way to the end and then order them off and get them exactly where he wanted them. So police confirmed by GPS tracking records that Ron Logan was home at the time of the murders. He said he was not. He went to the landfill to dump things.
What things?
We don't know.
He never explained that?
We don't know. So the police haven't released it. They've been so tight-lipped. At around 7:30 p.m. that night, he sent a text message from his phone that police actually have released in an affidavit that the court put out that said he was likely outside of his home and likely very close to where the girls were found. So he might have been going back. Killers go back to the scene of the crime all the time, especially when it's dark.
So they
February, 7:30, it's dark out.
through like the cell phone tower, they were able to triangulate. That's where he was during that text message.
Yes.
Wow.
And based on where they found the girls, was there any attempt to hide them? To cover it up?
No, they said that they were staged and kind of put into certain positions. They haven't said what they were, but it's most likely for like photographs or a ritual or something. They said it's a very strange crime scene, and they won't elaborate. But
it
they
seems
said
like
it's
True
staged.
Detective or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ron Logan went to prison in 2018 for breaking his probation. He was released. He was there from 2017 to 2018 and ended up being released, put on probation again, but died of COVID-19 in January of 2022.
Oh, man.
His involvement in this crime to this day remains unknown.
Good riddance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't seem like a good upstanding citizen aside from all this stuff.
Yeah. Public suspect number 2, Kegan Kline. Let me show you this guy.
Sounds like Kevin Kline.
Except Kegan.
Kegan. Except Kegan.
Not Kevin Pollak.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see this guy.
See this guy right away, right off the bat. I see this guy and I'm like, this looks like him.
All right, let me see. He's like a big guy, disheveled.
Yeah.
This is always the guy I like get stuck in like a weird tight bathroom next to.
He's the guy coming out of the
Yeah,
Starbucks
yeah.
bathroom when you're about to
Yeah.
enter.
Yeah. Just the whiff of him just, knocks you to the ground.
So this is Kegan Kline. He became a thing because the Murder Sheet podcast.
The what?
The Murder Sheet podcast.
Oh, Murder Sheet.
They're a true crime podcast.
haven't heard that one.
Has been covering this. They're up there in podcast rankings and stuff for
Okay.
true crime.
Catching up to us.
They are.
Eat our dust.
They have been doing a lot of work and did a lot of early reporting on this case, and they dug into the social media profiles of both girls. They found that there was a profile by the name of Anthony Schatz that was connected to both girls. And the Murder Sheet claimed that their reporting on the Anthony Schatz profile led local, state, and federal authorities to investigate this account and confirmed that whoever ran this account, which appeared to be a young Matt Rife-looking fellow,
Very Generation Z looking
Backstreet Boy.
Backstreet Boy stand-up comedian.
Women love him.
With him loving Instagram and the TikToks.
yeah,
Wait, so what does Matt Rife have to do with this?
the guy looks like
Yeah.
Anthony Schatz profile
Oh, I thought you were talking
was using
about this.
photos.
So
no,
Kegan Kline clearly is using a photo that's not his own on these social media sites.
yes. So this guy that you see at the bottom of the screen looks pretty much like Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is who Kegan Kline was pretending to be. He said his name was Anthony Schatz. He was a rich, young model that was interested in all these girls. It was a catfishing account so he could get naked pictures of underage girls.
So this rich young guy is just hanging out in rural Indiana.
In Delphi.
In
yeah.
Delphi, Indiana, yeah.
And how old is this Matt guy?
Matt Rife?
Or Keegan, excuse me.
Oh, Keegan's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he's really
Yeah.
desperate.
Yeah. So whoever had been running this account, when they investigated it, they found out that the Anthony Schatz account spoke with the girls on the day that they were murdered. People are speculating that the Anthony Schatz account was like the one that led them to go to that trail. It's not confirmed yet, but
Hey, I'm this really hot guy. I want to meet you at this,
Yes.
where everyone hangs out here, which it seems like a youth spot anyway.
Yeah.
Where people go. It doesn't seem like a lot of fun, but he's like, let's meet and hang out there, and that's a good place to like talk and stuff.
yeah.
I thought the older sister was showing them the spot, though.
No, she had already she dropped them off and left.
Oh,
It was
she had
just these two
shown
girls.
the others.
But
sister
previously, yeah.
another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So then that sister was showing her friend.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
they had a reference point where they're gonna meet
Where
this
they were
Matt
going.
Rife looking guy.
Yeah.
And it was probably very exciting for them that day. Like, we're
Oh, yeah.
going to the bridge by ourselves.
Yeah. So further digging brought them to this man, Kegan Kline, the actual owner of the account and the catfisher who used this profile to get naked pictures of underage girls. He has denied all involvement in their deaths, but has since been charged with 25 counts of child pornography and sexual abuse, which he has pleaded guilty to.
Oh, my
and
God.
Could end up serving life in prison. The Murder Sheet recently got him on the phone from prison and did an entire hour-long podcast with him. And he says he doesn't really remember talking to these girls. He does not identify with the term pedophile, and he says out of the 25 charges, he's probably only really guilty of about 7.
Oh my God.
Well, I got news for you, Keegan. That term identifies with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't identify as that's a new one.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah. Done.
He also
Roasted pig.
Yeah, oh
Looking
boy.
at his picture.
He also told the Murder Sheet that after he gets convicted and sentenced, he would be open to talking about the Delphi case because he told the two podcast hosts that do not ask me about Delphi.
What else are you going to talk to him about?
Yeah.
Hey, what's prison food like?
Yeah. That's like Mark Carr doesn't want to talk about
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
he doesn't want to talk
Yeah,
about.
they got
too.
AC in there.
Yeah. Is there a gym? Well, obviously.
Well,
he hasn't
hey.
seen it.
Yeah.
How are you able to keep all the weight on in prison?
The weight on. The weight on. He said that he does have some information regarding the case and that he's brought it to the attention of the prosecutor, but the prosecutor told him none of his claims can be verified. So no deal, no plea deal, nothing. His involvement remains unknown to the public, but I believe that the police have a very good idea.
Well, the police obviously subpoenaed Snapchat and whatever social media sites were utilized, and so they know so much about what info was transferred to who.
Yeah. So Kegan's involvement is likely known to the police. They've actually, released through affidavits. It's been seen that Kegan, during the day of the murders and shortly thereafter, was doing the whole Google search thing. How long does DNA stay on a body? Like those type of things. So clearly, what are the odds? I mean, let's do Occam's razor here. You're taking the easiest path to be like, okay, this person was involved. Why the fuck would they randomly be searching that? He also lied about where he was that day. There's a whole slew of things going on that just does not sit right with me with two people who have not been officially charged.
But do you think it could have been a team of people that were involved in this entire thing?
The police believe that. They've come out and said that.
Really?
Yeah.
So, we're not just looking for one person here. It's a couple people working together.
So the entire time, and let's go back in the timeline of when, Kegan gets picked up, which is 3 years ago. There's DNA on the body. There's animal hairs and fibers that are on the bodies as well. So I believe the reason that they didn't think Ron Logan had anything to do with it was because they tested fibers and they tested the DNA that was found on the body, and it did not match Ron Logan. Which, to me, that doesn't mean that he wasn't involved.
He just didn't get, whatever. He didn't do
He may not have
do a lot
killed
of the
them.
physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were a team, you think? Kegan and Logan.
Did they have a history, though? Did they know each other? Was there, a known history that they were, buddies or
Only the
hung out?
police know that.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be the first time that there's a sort of odd couple involved in a heinous crime together.
Oh, for sure.
It happens
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right. So Kegan's involvement remains unknown to the public. Now, in the meantime, there's a big press conference that's scheduled, and word's getting around town like, oh my God, I think they found the killer. There's a big press conference that's held. Families invited. Everyone's whispering around town that they got the killer or the killer's involved. Mind you, it's been years since the murders happened, and they didn't prep the family on what they were actually going to say. So they were like, we're getting big news if they're getting, all this press here and announcing something formally. What was the press conference actually for? A new police sketch that looks absolutely nothing like the first killer sketch.
I can't wait to see this one.
It's just a picture of Kevin Pollak.
Yeah, it looks even more like Kevin Pollak.
Yeah. Speaking of master impressionists.
So this one, much younger, different hair, no hat, different eyes,
That's
way
not
bigger chin and jaw.
that's not the guy in the Snapchat picture at all.
No, and then compare it to the original sketch.
Yeah.
They look 30 years apart.
Yeah, exactly. And so people are asking, is this the same guy? And they go, this is the person we're looking for. They still don't tell you if it's the same guy.
Oh, wait
And
a
so people are like, what the fuck is going on? We went from, thinking that we had the killer locked down and arrested, backstage here. And
Two of them possibly taken care of.
And now you're telling us that there's a whole new, different looking person that we're looking for now. Like, where the fuck are we?
He looks like a character from a Wes Anderson movie or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like a weird.
Like Ben Stiller's kid or something.
Yes, from Royal Tenenbaums. Yeah, it's just like maybe they're looking for both of these people, and they found a video or something that corresponds to that kid on the left being involved somehow.
Yeah.
And Kegan is obese.
Yeah.
And both of those pictures, they're not very fat.
But never been charged in the murder in any capacity.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that if I was the family at this press conference, I would have flipped tables over. I probably would have been going after the police at this point, being like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, tell us if this is a different person. Why are you, playing coy like, ooh, we don't know. This is the person we're looking
And
for.
the family gets no extra information
No.
than the public gets.
No.
This could be a scenario where they got to bring in, a big city, investigator.
They have it.
Like they do.
State police have been working on it, local police, and the FBI.
That's the FBI too?
Yes, that video I originally showed you was released by the FBI. That the FBI's
Well,
been a
that
part
gives
of
them
this.
subpoena power over like some of these social media networks.
He's like, how are the feds not finding out what's going on? This is crazy.
So was there a moment when the hotshot FBI agent arrived?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I got it from here.
no,
You mean my crime scene?
it's the guy in charge of the state police, the superintendent of Indiana State Police. His name's Doug Carter. So when he's the one presenting all the press conferences, and when they have this new sketch that comes out that looks nothing like the first one, and people are going, "What are you telling us? Is this a new person? What's going on?" They're like, "This is the guy that we're looking for." And so in later interviews, people would be like, "So is this the same person? And why did you guys switch what the sketch looked like?" And his only reply has ever been, "Well, isn't that something?" With like a smile.
Oh, that is so uncalled for.
I
don't know. I think there's something going on with this family. That's the reason why. It's just like, it's fishy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they would be this hands off or, keeping the family in the dark like this unless there was something else to it.
Yeah. So
okay, so the family is the reason. That's what your theory is. They're the reason that they're being so coy about it.
Maybe. I don't know, the sister dropping her off there, maybe there's more to that.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
We're just throwing theories out here.
Yeah, just throw it.
I don't know
Okay.
either.
I'm spitballing over here.
So the only takeaway from this era of the investigation is a very powerful moment in the case where Doug Carter actually acknowledges that the killer may be amongst the very people in that room during the press conference. And so I'll play this clip from the press conference. It's powerful shit.
Then the lights go out.
Who may be in this room.
Wait, what did he say?
Hold on.
To the killer who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
Man.
For more than 2 years, you never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We likely have interviewed you or someone close to you. We know that this is about power to you. And you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking badass.
Wow.
I get the chills listening to that.
Man.
That was a very cinematic
This
moment.
does feel
Yeah.
like very True Detective season 1. It's just like you just really don't know exactly who this is, and you're definitely dealing with someone. I hate to say this in every, cliched, thriller movie. It's like this is someone that really knows what they're doing, kind of.
Yeah.
I would guess they have some background in law enforcement or something if they are this good at evading or throwing the scent off their trail.
Yeah.
And they're hinting that it's the age-old scenario of the killer taking pride in their work and
Oh, yeah.
gleefully evading the authorities.
Yeah.
And smiling in the face of the police, basically.
There's a thing called Duper's Delight, is what they call it. So there are pictures of the suspect who ended up getting arrested smiling with a picture being taken next to the mugshots in the background.
Man.
So he's like, hey, smile for the camera. So he says a very powerful thing, you might be in this room, we may have already interviewed you. This is about power for you, and you want to know what we know, and one day you will. So that brings us to the final suspect, which is Richard Allen. Richard Allen was one of the local pharmacy techs at the Delphi CVS. He lived about 1.5 miles from that CVS and lived 1.5 miles from the murder site. So it cannot be overstated how small this town is. Everything is 2 miles from each other. There's only 3 actual traffic lights in the town. I only found 2. So there's one hiding out somewhere that I didn't get.
Hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you're in this room, traffic light.
Yeah. So within days of the girls being found, possibly even the next day, Richard Allen went and told a park ranger, or a conservation officer is what they call him, I guess, that
Nicer title.
that he was on the trail that day to watch the fish and check stocks on his phone at the same time of the murder.
Check stocks like investment stocks, like
Yeah,
the
he's checking his
stock market.
portfolio, yeah.
Oh.
No, chicken stock.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Yeah.
He didn't take any photos or videos of the trail, even though he said it was a beautiful day, and that's why he went. He wanted to go watch the fish. So it's been leaked through someone possibly close to the investigation, though never actually confirmed, that a clerical error resulted in the feds and police overlooking Richard Allen for 5 years.
Clerical error?
That's what was said. They didn't go into any detail. They were like a clerical error stopped them from looking into him for 5 whole years.
Clerical error.
Yeah, but the police said that's not true. It's complete bullshit.
Our error led to Kevin Pollak being a suspect.
I was a suspect.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought I was in trouble. I guess not.
I was walking the bridge.
Yeah.
So as Doug Carter stated, the killer wants to know what they know. So Richard Allen he was the first person on record saying that he was there that day. They asked him what he was wearing. He said he was wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans. Why would he admit to that? Because he had no idea that the girls recorded footage of him.
I just got chills
Yes.
when I had the realization that the guy in the video had a blue jacket
Yep.
and blue jeans.
Wait, can we see a picture of this guy?
Yeah,
That's him?
that's him.
Oh my God, that's definitely him. What are you kidding me?
That does look like the guy in the video.
That's him.
Could be.
Wait, so he did give a description of what he was wearing before he knew they had that Snapchat footage.
Yes.
But what about the clerical error? Did that not come to light before he knew that?
No, he put himself, right in the middle of it, being the first person to come forward and say, I was on the trail that day.
So he's the one like put it in their face, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying, yeah, I was there, and this is what I was wearing, but you can't prove anything else.
Exactly. They're like, what are you wearing? He's like, blue jeans, blue jacket.
So he's the one saying, fuck you, cops, you can't get me.
Yes, so clearly he had no idea that the girls took the video, and he had no idea that the phone was still on their, in their possession when they were being killed. Because no one would ever admit to, wearing exactly what they were looking for. But then again, it's like, why did it take so fucking long for the FBI to be like, okay, this guy who came forward day one, the day after the murders, saying he was wearing what the killer wore?
But my opinion is that cop giving that press conference and saying those things, maybe it's intentional that they didn't want to show their hand.
Well, yeah, that's what they've been saying the whole time. And that's why they haven't released so much of the information. Like, we don't even know how the girls died. It was just described in the affidavit that...
But it's not a clerical error. They were just, they were playing coy with this suspect.
But for 5 years, I can see for one, maybe,
Yeah.
playing a little cat and mouse, seeing how he reacts. But 5 years, I really think they fucked up.
Yeah. Or maybe they were trying to see if he was going to do it again.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah, you're putting so many lives at risk.
Yeah, that's true, too. And I'm wondering, maybe he's got a friend on the inside of the police department, too, and he's playing weird games. I don't even know.
Could be, but you can't play that, politics, even if you know someone at the local level, because the state and the feds are there, too. It's like, this is a failure on 3 levels.
But they all share information.
Yeah.
wow.
So clearly he had no idea that there was footage of him on the cell phone. He didn't know that the cell phone was on the girl's, person. His biggest mistake, thank God, was not taking her phone, Libby's phone, with him or throwing it away. Because although the videos of him that were taken through Snapchat were not posted, they were saved as files on the phone, likely saved as a draft post on Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they got this information.
It wasn't online. It wasn't like free.
No, so
Okay.
nobody else has seen this other than the authorities. They haven't showed.
Gotcha.
They haven't shown the family. Nothing.
No prints or anything involved in this.
Police would not tip their hand on what information led them to believe Allen was the perpetrator, but there was an official police interview with Allen on October 13th, 2022. Shortly after, his home was raided and multiple pieces of evidence were seized, including his gun, which after testing confirmed it was the weapon that discharged that unspent bullet that was found between Abby and Libby.
What?
His
Yeah.
gun.
They took his gun. They asked him, have you ever let anyone borrow this gun? He said no. They were like, great. Took it to the lab, and they were able to recreate identical markings by releasing the bullet without firing. And there's, a whole portion of the community that says that's fucking hack science. It's not identical. It's not like a fingerprint. So they're trying to get that stricken off the record. They don't want the jury to even know that.
Why?
And it's up for debate. The judge hasn't ruled on whether or not that's going to be allowed in the trial yet.
This guy has a lawyer that's trying to get that tossed out.
Yeah, they say it's bogus science and not definitive.
If there's a precedent out there or something, I'm sure the prosecutors know hopefully what they're doing.
Yeah.
The case is bogus.
Yeah. In their raid of the house, they even dug up the dead cat in the backyard to see if its hair was identical to the hair found on the girls' bodies.
Oh.
They found cat hair.
Yes.
Oh, so they did say some details.
So the hairs that they found and the fibers that they found were likely from an animal.
A cat, though, they confirmed.
They haven't confirmed it to us, but they did acknowledge that they dug up the cat in the backyard.
Man.
What a weird
They're really trying to find anything they could get on this.
Yeah. So after his house was raided, I mean, they took a jacket, could be the same jacket. They took a lot of things. So
Boom. They find the jacket. That's as good as the smoking gun, in my opinion.
what's been leaked, and like I said, this is pure conjecture, but I could see this happening. There was someone who was very close to him that was starting to have a sneaking suspicion about Richard being the guy that was on the bridge and heard on the tape. And they allegedly found something that was connected to the murders, which could have been an item of clothing from one of the girls, something that memorialized the murders, which is what, these killers
what
do.
sickos like.
Yeah, so they immediately called the police. People are speculating that his wife did it and turned him in. Because there's also a $250,000 bounty on whoever.
On any evidence
Yes.
leading to the capture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this raid and everything happens mid-October. He's arrested.
Mid-October when?
2022. So
It
this
also-
just happened.
It also shows you he's kind of a shitty husband because if she's taking $250,000, like just to get rid of this guy, it seems like he's not a guy. He's not
And
a good
she can get a
person.
divorce and take all his shit.
I know this seems like a win-win-win for her.
An extra $250K. So like I said, that's pure speculation. We are not saying that. There have been other channels that have said that, but I could see that being the
So
case.
what are we saying?
We're saying that could be a very likely scenario where the wife found something that was connected to the murders, turned him in, and that's how they found out.
And
it
you
was
think
Richard
they
Allen.
have that evidence right there. But with that,
Yes.
you would think they would be able to formally charge him.
They did.
They did.
Arrested October 28th, 2022, and charged with 2 counts of murder, 1 for Abby, 1 for Libby.
Oh, okay.
So we
Yeah.
caught him.
His
Kyle
trial
doesn't buy it 100%.
Case closed.
His trial
What's
is
the next
starting.
episode?
And the police said that more than one person is involved in this murder. So they have one of the guys.
And is he talking?
The prosecution said there's been at least 7 incidences of him in prison admitting to the murders to different inmates. Whether or not that's, some scumbags on the inside saying, "Oh, he told me he did it. Now give me 10 years off."
Yeah.
We don't know. You're dealing with a bunch of shitbags
Right.
in prison.
Yeah. And he's also allegedly killed kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you're still got a big target on your back just for that in prison.
Yeah.
But inmates do provide a lot of valuable information.
They do.
Like the
They
guy,
can.
the roommate that said Aaron Hernandez was blowing him.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to get our friend Todd activated here.
But the police are still playing coy and not fully saying if Richard Allen is the man caught on camera on the bridge.
I think
on.
it totally is. And the fact that he was wearing the same clothes and he admitted to that? Come on.
Yeah.
And the cat hair.
Yeah.
And the fact that it sounds like he admitted it.
So those
Right.
girls were back at his house at some point.
I don't
At
think
his
so.
house? No.
No,
Well-
they were killed on site.
Wait,
They were killed on his property.
No, on Ron Logan's property.
Yes.
Not.
But they weren't at his house.
No, but they weren't killed.
Well, that's why I wonder why the cat. Did he bring his cat out with him, or was it just because he had
No,
cat
he had
dander?
hair.
He had cat dander on his. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me now.
And perhaps Richard Allen knew that Ron Logan was the town buffoon.
Maybe.
Drunk, driving, troublemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's just going to leave the bodies on his property, and then he'll be blamed for it.
Wow.
That's
Interesting. I haven't heard
yeah.
that theory yet.
That's a hot theory.
That's my theory.
Hey,
Didn't know he was going to die of COVID though.
Could be. Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah. Whoops.
I guess I should take back my good riddance for Ron Logan.
No, he's a shitbag.
Oh,
Is
okay.
he?
Yeah. He was hitting women.
Oh,
there were
okay.
ex-girlfriends that said he hated women, and he like beat up all his ex-girlfriends, and then drove drunk all the time,
Oh man.
and
Menace
then
to
lied about where he
society.
was. Got rid of some sort of trash in a landfill seconds after the girls were murdered. Tells his cousin to lie about picking him up at the time of the murder and dropping him off 3 hours later.
Okay.
And then they have a GPS tracking on him that shows that he was within very close proximity of where the girls were found.
So he could have had some involvement in this.
I think he absolutely did.
Oh, so he's not off the hook in
No!
terms of being involved in this.
I think all three of these people are in cahoots. And
You think they hung out at the local bar? Maybe they played darts together and they're like, hey,
Could be.
we're all creeps that live in this town. Let's do something disgusting.
my personal theory is that Anthony Schatz, Kegan Kline, lured them there, and Ron Logan is the guy on the bridge, and the guy waiting in the woods that actually killed them and left DNA on their bodies and may have sexually assaulted them. That's Richard Allen, because they had DNA connecting him to the crime.
Wait, so you think Ron Logan is the one in the video?
Let me show you this picture.
It's definitely that guy with the goatee. He's chubbier, and I think they got the right guy.
They definitely got one of the right guys.
Yeah. Well, one of them could have died of COVID. Fauci got him.
Fauci, you son of a bitch, you did it again.
But in the scheme of things, Ron Logan and Richard Allen, they're both the same kind of older, middle-aged fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just same build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw on a jacket and they look the same.
Yeah.
Like the airport scene in Home Alone 2.
It seemed very intentional that the hat was down like that, and he was just maybe muttering, and that gives me the chills. That video of that weird guy walking.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be any of those guys.
Yeah.
Except for Kegan.
I mean, we don't really know if the guy in the video is the one saying down the hill, because Kegan Kline's voice kind of sounds like him. But so does Richard Allen's.
So there could have been the three of them there.
I think Ron Logan is that guy
Uh-huh.
on the bridge
Okay.
following them. I think Kegan Kline lured them there, and I
Uh-huh.
think Richard Allen was waiting and murdered them.
But is Kegan there?
No.
So why did he lure them there? What was in it for him?
Fucking sicko? I don't know.
Maybe they thought it was going to go a different way, and then things, in the moment,
Yeah, they could have been
changed.
pedophiles that were like, we're going to lure these girls and take them to Ron's house, and then Richard Allen went rogue and killed them.
Right.
So, yeah, that is... Let me show you this picture. Okay, so you're seeing this guy that's taking a step. Ron walks with a limp. This guy got a little bit of a limp. We only see really one step that he's taking. But when people have their hands in hoodies, it's usually the same length. You can see on his right arm is kind of cocked up to the side, and his other one's like fully down.
Yeah.
To me, that seems like a very similar disposition or similar position. Nobody walks with one arm up like that. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I think that he's the bridge guy because he knows the property better than anyone. He friggin' lives on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Speculation. I know he's dead, but
I don't think you have to feel bad about speculating about Mr. Logan.
Did you go to the actual crime scene yourself?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it spooky? Did you think like you were going to get killed or something?
Yeah, I called Alejandro when I was on the trail telling him I was scared because I knew he would be like, just go, we need the video. If I called you, you'd be like, it's all right, dude. Like, if you're scared, go ahead, turn around.
I made some jokes, I think.
Yeah.
You did
But it was
sound very frightened.
I was terrified. I'm not going to lie because those woods are so dense, even without leaves that they wouldn't have even had leaves in February. Even without that, the trees are so packed in and close together that someone could be right next to you and you wouldn't even know.
And that's what I was saying earlier, what this walk is like. That day you described it as about a mile or more.
Yeah, it was about 0.8 miles from the parking lot to the bridge.
So that's pretty
So
out
these
there.
girls have been walking for that long?
Yeah. So it's about a mile inland and away from the highway. So when you're going, you have to cross over one bridge to get over the highway and
Yeah.
then go down this path.
Scary.
And, 3/4 of a mile in, it opens up and you can see daylight finally breaking from the trees, and that's the bridge. I took a bunch of videos from when I went there, and I'll show you a few of them.
You're hearing the story now. I could imagine how frightening it would be to actually go there.
Yeah.
Did you know about all the gritty details before you went there?
Oh, yeah.
You'd been looking into this for a couple of years.
I've known this case since it first happened.
Because
Yeah.
it's still unsolved.
Right.
Like, it ain't wrapped up, so you could have been in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been a suspect.
Or a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I kept having panicking thoughts of like someone popping out of the woods with a weapon, just being like, "Why did you come here?"
Yeah.
And I'd have to be like, "Cause I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know." And that would be my last thought.
responding to the maniac in the woods
Yes.
earnestly. Like, well,
I'm fucking
well,
dumb.
you're right. Why did I come here?
Why did I come here? I'm a fucking idiot.
Or there's a weird old guy with a sheriff's star
Yeah.
on his jacket. You ain't from around here, are you, bub?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm afraid of when I'm going through small towns like that. Like it's gonna be because that was like what was that? Nothing but trouble. No,
Yeah, Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was like a comedic version of it. But there's also other things where like Kurt Russell he breaks down in the middle of like the country.
Breakdown.
Breakdown, yeah.
You keep saying the movie titles.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, U-Turn from Oliver Stone.
And The Vanishing with Jeff Bridges.
Yep.
So for this one, this is me actually. Once you see daylight breaking, I was like, all right, I'm gonna film a little bit more. Don't mind my breathing.
I thought that was the wind.
This is where everyone walked. So the girls walked straight this way.
So there's like a paved trail there.
This is new. This is like within the last 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So it used to be like a dirt trail.
they're making it nicer now.
Yeah.
They're renovating.
So as I'm walking, I take a look at this creepy trail, and I have since watched locals that have posted, and he was waiting in this area right here, right before the bridge, waiting for them
And
to
then
go
to
over.
start following them.
So he came from there, yeah.
Ron.
Well,
Ron
whoever
or
we
Richard,
think. Yeah.
Yeah. The killer, or one of the killers.
So it's possible one of them set up there, followed the girls, and then the other guys were set up on the other side.
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
If you follow that trail too, it goes all along the Deer Creek, which is, you know, it's not quite a river, but it's the water that runs through underneath, and you could be able to get right to where the girls' bodies were found. So this whole bridge, like this part, is completely renovated, and they do not allow you to go past a certain point.
Where's the train tracks? That they would have been there. The
They
train
would have
tracks.
been right here, yeah.
Okay, so they did knock them down.
Yeah, so as I'm walking, you know, this is the Deer Creek, and they were found on the other side of those trees, but like on the other side of the river. So they had to cross back in through the water.
So they went into the woods a little bit.
Yes.
It
And so-
wasn't just like I thought it was like right off the beaten path. Kind
No,
of.
it's someone who knew exactly what they were doing and exactly knew where to take them.
Yeah.
So this bridge, it's like a video game where it stops you from getting to
that's
the next
where-
level.
yeah.
So this is the actual bridge.
Did Alejandro tell you to jump that and just keep going?
I thought about it, but it was raining, and if I slipped off that, I'd be fucking toast.
Oh yeah.
It's
No, I didn't-
70 feet in the air.
I didn't hear from Kyle.
Yeah, he called to check in on me, actually, after a while.
How was the service out there? The cell phone service.
It wasn't bad, to be honest, actually.
Yeah.
That's probably since been updated. So, yeah. No, not one media outlet has done this justice. This bridge is 1,300 feet long. That's the 60 feet shorter than the original World Trade Center towers.
Nice.
So it takes you a full 3 to 6 minutes to be able to walk the entire thing. So he knew once they got over, after a few minutes, he's going to go right behind them, and they're already fucked.
Yeah. And there's no running there. There's nowhere
No.
to go.
Nope.
Like and if you're these girls and you look back and there's some weird guy behind you on this and like some weird older guy, you're like, what the hell's that guy doing here?
Yeah.
And with a gun, no less.
Right, exactly. Yep.
God, those poor girls.
The terror they must have felt is unreal.
Yeah, it's awful.
So this is a video.
Okay, so that's the trail back. That's where you
Explaining.
came from. To give you guys an idea, they rebuilt this apparently, and they stop you from going on the actual bridge, but this was the entire bridge the whole way. And they say it's like between 60 and 80 feet, so we'll call it 70, off the ground. Now, he came this way, followed them. to give you a little idea of how long this bridge actually is. It has taken me already 35 seconds. We're not even there to like the halfway point, I would imagine that is, because right where this part is blocked off, right here, we're just getting over the water. So we're like just getting to the land.
Uh-oh,
right
train's
there. You can see
coming.
the water's
Yeah.
right there. The land probably comes right here.
Ghost train.
And so you have to keep going all the way to where the land meets the bridge, because that's where he said down the hill. And that's way into the woods down there.
Way.
And so
I've
got off
since
the bridge
realized
there.
that that's not even close to halfway where the bridge is.
Do you
So-
have like a map, like a Google map?
Yeah, I'll show an overhead after this.
Okay.
But this gives a little bit more context to the land.
And I'm sensing trembling in your voice.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And then ended up back across the water on that side. So they had to either they were running away through the water or he dragged them across, and they ended up on the other side. Like they crossed the bridge and then went back over. It's like a little bit further in there, which I'm sure he knew.
Where's
people wouldn't be
Richard's
able to
property
see
line? Is he in that direction?
that from the bridge, because you can't.
Yeah, so they were found like diagonally this way. So like if you put a pin over here,
Yeah.
that was pretty much where they were, and that's Ron's property is like pretty much all that.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Ron's property.
Yeah.
So it seems like they were going for his property. To
Yeah.
me, that's what it seems like to me.
Could be.
And how close did Richard live?
So the murder site was a mile and a half away from the CVS. His house is like a triangle, mile and a half away, and then it's a mile and a half away back to the murder site. So it's like this weird triangle
Yeah.
across town.
I'm wondering if they were trying to. This is a theory I'm proposing here.
Okay.
They were trying to get those girls over to that property. Maybe they had something set up there where they were going to trap them there.
Yeah.
And then that's what he was throwing away into the trash. Whatever things they were going to use in order to like put them in like a basement or something.
They call that the kill kit. They have these kits set up in places, these sicko killers.
Yeah, their go bag or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. They could have been.
Where they could keep them like prisoner or something. That's what I'm thinking.
There were all these wild theories that Ron Logan was a pedophile and had like pedo parties and stuff like that. It's never been confirmed, but that is a theory that's out there that they wanted to trap them at Ron Logan's house, and Richard Allen just went rogue and ended up killing them instead.
That's what I think is a
like
very
he
plausible
freaked out.
scenario.
We're in a
Yeah.
small town. She's going to be able to tell exactly who we are.
Yeah. And the video, I think, creeped them out because maybe the girls said, just so you guys, maybe one of them just like said, we sent that online just so you guys know.
Maybe I think they didn't have any idea
Because they're older guys, they figure they don't know how to do technology or anything.
Yeah, I think it was truly a secret that they didn't tell him. Because I don't think he would have ever admitted to wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans and being on the trail at the same time.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is such a weird thing to admit.
Yeah, I think it was just a stroke of genius that, Libby luckily had the thought in her head to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so lucky. So lucky. Even though it took him over 5 years.
Man.
Almost 6.
But I wonder, maybe the cops are also looking for if he has previous victims and stuff. I don't know if anything else like this has happened in this area, but
Well, there was an arson that happened in the town of Flora, which is very close by, and they killed 4 kids in a arson attack in a house, and they're trying to link it to the Delphi case, which they might be able to. Wow.
jeez.
But that happened shortly before the Delphi murders. So it is a failure on many levels that it took this long.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep following up on this and just seeing what happens.
So when I went, I went to the local pub in town. It's really just, one bar in the center square there. And they were like, oh my God, they're like, you're not from around here. I stuck out like a sore thumb. The place was packed. When I walked in, there was only 2 people in there. And by the time I had a beer and had my lunch, the place was packed. I had my Patriots hoodie on and my Red Sox hat on.
Nice.
And they're like, you must really be from New England. And I was like, oh, yeah. And the bartender was like, well, what brings you out to this small town? And I was like, well, I've seen you guys on the news. And She goes, Delphi on the news? She goes, for what? And I was like,
What?
I go, I don't want to say it out loud. And she was like, oh, she's like, since they caught him, we've done our best to try to forget about it and move on.
Until right now.
Yeah. She's like,
And then they lock all the doors like, this boy wants to talk about the Delphi murders.
yeah.
Why would she be surprised, though? It'd be like if you were in a Memphis bar and they're like, why'd you come to Memphis?
Yeah.
Wait, you went to Elvis's house? Why?
Yeah, the only thing in town.
She was a very sweet woman, but she said, they try to move on as best they can. And I was like, I don't even want to talk about it out loud. You never know who you're sitting next to, and I don't want to upset anybody. And she's like, no, she's like, you can tell you're respectful. She's like, we get some people sometimes that, really make people upset and demand answers from people who are affected by this and blah, blah, blah. I even went to the CVS that Richard Allen was the tech at, and that's actually one thing. The families were asked if they had ever had any contact with Richard Allen before, and all the families said no until they found out that he worked at the CVS, and they were like, oh my God. When they were printing the photos for the girls' funerals, he was the one that printed them at the CVS and said, I'm not charging you for this. Like, this is on me.
On the house?
This is on the house. So the funeral pictures printed at CVS were printed by the killer.
He was in like the dark room putting this together, doing God knows what.
1 hour photo.
When I
That's
went
what it
there,
seems like. 1 hour photo, the Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, they still process film in Delphi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, when
that's
I
true.
went there, it's like the photo counter was at the main register as soon as you walk in. I was too scared to take a picture of it because they even had a note on the counter saying pretty much like, don't ask us about the killings because, we've been actually affected by this.
Man.
Yeah, well, because the killer used to work there.
Yeah.
That's actually where you were when I called to check in on you.
Yes.
But this guy had so much information on so many people. I would be scared shitless because, like, if you know someone's prescriptions, their history, medical history, everything about them, where they live.
Oh,
that's
true.
frightening, man.
And the people that he knew that were involved in the pedophile parties.
Yeah.
That could be wide-ranging.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very creepy. Like I said, I went and visited both Ron Logan and Richard Allen's houses.
Oh.
The videos we will watch and we'll post on Patreon. So if you guys want to go over there and check those out. We also have our podcast about John Marcar, who we talked to multiple times. So you can check that out.
We got
Another
some wild
pedophile.
stuff on this Patreon of ours.
Yeah.
We left a voicemail for Mr. Carr.
Just a little hint.
Yeah.
What's going on
but
over there.
when I went to Ron Logan's place, I passed by, I filmed the house, I turn around because there's a little mini cul-de-sac, and by the time I'm turning around, there's a big black SUV that's flying up to me and stops right behind me. And I turn around, and in the video, I show my rear view mirror, or my side mirror, and that there's an SUV that's, looking at me. And I start driving off, and then they start following me. And I film Ron Logan's house again, and the SUV that was parked in the driveway is now gone. So whoever lives at that house now was the one that was following me all around town. And in one of the videos, I'm actually freaking the fuck out because I don't know if this is like FBI, if people are just monitoring his house, or if this is someone that's entangled with Ron Logan and pissed.
Or it's like an active investigation, so the FBI is like still wants to know who's coming and going from this town.
Yeah, I doubt the FBI would be in his driveway, but could be. I ended up taking this random left in the center of town, and lo and behold, I pulled right into the police station, not even knowing it. And
You confessed.
The SUV, SUV kept on going.
He
but
spent the night in jail.
whoever's living at Ron Logan's property was the one that followed me all through town.
Who would want to
Man.
stay there? So was it a family member, you think?
I'm guessing. I looked up the buying and selling history. It hasn't been sold.
Wow.
So I think, it could be his kids, relatives, another pedophile. Who knows?
John Marcar.
Another possible pedophile because he's never been proven to be a pedophile. So
We have to use the alleged term still for legal purposes.
yes.
To be fair, you looked like you were up to no good probably as well.
Yeah, because I had my giant moving truck.
Yeah, that's right. You got this big white crazy moving truck.
Your white truck without any...
Yeah, no logos,
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Just driving around at the murder scene.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
should look in the mirror, buddy.
Yeah,
You're the problem
you
in
know?
this town.
Man in the mirror, baby.
Ever look in a freaking mirror?
They're asking around, did some guy in a Red Sox hat come
Yeah.
talking to you?
Yeah, the guy with the big truck. Yeah, what'd he got in that truck?
Yeah. So when I was there and I was at that bar, I was there on June 11th. And the woman who was working there that I was talking to, she
Was
said,
it the local roadhouse?
yeah, she said, I can actually find out exactly what the name of the bar was.
You're like Dalton coming into town. Like, you looking for some security here?
yeah.
It was actually Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, it's like a chain restaurant. Yeah.
Let's see.
It was a cheesecake factory.
Yeah, you can never escape those. It's called the Brick and Mortar Pub. And
Oh, I like the name.
yeah, it was great. The
That
food,
sounds good, like a good mom and pop spot.
yeah, the food was good. The beers were good. It was cold, nice and bubbly. It hit the spot.
Ooh.
Wow, what a ringing endorsement.
But she said, she's like,
You got to go get the beer. It's very bubbly.
4 out of 5 stars.
she's like, since you came here for that, she's like, you actually came the right week. There's a hearing on June 15th, so I was 4 days early for his big pretrial hearing.
You can go to that hearing too. That's open
Yeah.
to the public. Oh man, that would have been
You should've
awesome.
stayed.
Yeah.
You're the press, man. You're
Yeah.
Death and Entertainment.
I'm the press, man.
yeah. It's my press pass, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're from the 60s. Though.
Yeah. And so when I was outside, I was like kind of taking they had such generic storefronts, store names. It looked like the Universal lot. And it was like hair store, like
Yeah.
nail salon. And then there was one that said rock shop. And it was like
Just rocks?
just guitars. Yeah, it should have been rocks, but it was just guitars and stuff. Like, oh, rock and roll
It's
shop.
like Bizarre World.
And even brick and mortar pub.
Yeah.
yeah.
But as I turned from the rock shop to look across the street at this big building that just looks like, City Hall, it ended up being the courthouse where, everything was going down. So all of this stuff happens within less than 2 miles of each other. It's so crazy.
It's like it's Main Street.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
How did this not end badly like a Tales from the Crypt episode?
Well, it sounds like it did, at least for Richard.
No,
Or for me.
For you escaping this small town where you're not
Yeah,
wanted.
that sounds like a Black Mirror. Some podcaster comes into town. He's
Snooping
like,
around.
Yeah.
That sounds like a better Black Mirror than the ones for this season.
Yeah.
Fucking not great, in my opinion.
Joan
Yeah.
is awful, and so is this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't the show.
So I think we have summed up what we think happened. What do you think happened, people at home? Shoot it off in the comments. Let us know.
Go off, Queen.
Go off, yes, Queen.
So that's
Queen.
our final thought, is that the three of them were involved.
That's what I believe.
But they could only put a charge on one of them right now.
In my heart of hearts, it makes no sense why Ron Logan would go to a landfill station, lie about why he's not home, and the timing is very nefarious. Telling people to lie for him about where he was, and you're the one that took me, and even though everything could be tracked. Kegan Kline talks to them on Snapchat the day of.
We think.
Confirmed talks to them on the day of.
Really? Okay.
We don't know what the contents of that message was, but it's speculated that he's the one that said, hey, meet me at the Monon High Bridge Trail.
But he told those podcast hosts that he doesn't remember the conversation.
Yeah, he goes, I don't even remember talking to them. He's
He
like,
said
it
he might
wasn't
have-
until they got murdered that someone mentioned it to me.
He
Like,
said I
oh,
might have conversed with them.
Yeah, I
That's
might have.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't keep track of all the underage girls I'm courting.
Yeah. And then Richard Allen, you're linked via your gun and the DNA that was found at the scene.
The
So
cat hair, the jacket,
I think
the wife turning
this-
him in.
Yeah.
But what they're waiting for, I think, in my is one of them to turn on the other.
Well, Kegan already has given information. He thinks that his dad is involved, who has had sexual assault charges and child porn charges
Really?
against children, too.
So it's a new person involved.
Yeah, Tony Kline, the father of Kegan, has been involved with very nefarious activities. So,
Not the comedian that works on the
yeah,
west side in Los
oh yeah,
Angeles.
Tony Kline, very nice guy, Tony
Yeah,
Kline.
very-
Not that Tony
Very
Kline.
nice guy. I used to do shows with in
Yeah.
the Valley here. So
Very good guy.
And no relation to Kevin or Calvin.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, I think this could be way bigger than we could possibly imagine. I think all three of them are involved in some capacity, and it would be very weird for them to be Googling how long does DNA stay on a body for and lying about where they were and throwing things away.
Yeah.
Burn them all.
There's a story update I see right here from a day ago.
Okay.
It says judge may release sealed documents in Delphi murder case as early as next week.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're waiting on that. That's a big update.
Yeah. So that is the only,
Thing we're missing.
thing that we can look forward to in this case, because nothing really, there's been like bits and pieces, but they're still like, we don't know.
I like Kyle's impression. It's,
Of the Federal
it's always
Bureau
as
of
good as my
Investigation.
Trump impression.
Yeah. Who knows?
We're tight-lipped
We're very
for
tight-lipped.
specific reasons, but we're not going to tell you why.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly release a new sketch photo. Yeah. And it looks like Jason Alexander.
Looks like me.
Yeah, it looks he's wearing a Boston hat.
Yeah, it's just me in a big white truck.
Another new person of interest here.
Kyle at the brick and mortar pub.
Yeah.
Holding a bubbly beer.
Chugging a beer.
He's eating a burger there.
I had the chili cheese fries. They were great.
There's a sketch artist across from the bar just doing Kyle's sketch.
Kyle thinks it's just a guy looking for change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you look this way?
Yeah. But we will have on our Patreon us watching all the footage of me that day. I'm going to piece it all together and we're going to record it another day. But yeah, look out for that. If you want to see some extra behind the scenes stuff from that day, there's a lot. Like I said, someone from Ron Logan's property friggin' chased me to the police station, and thank God that's the only time I was like, thank God for police.
Yeah.
Thin blue line. Thin blue line.
Blue lives matter.
Yeah, that was the only time. And then I drove away and I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, you took that bumper sticker off your car.
And then, of course, we must say R.I.P. to Abby and Libby.
Yes, that I can't even imagine what you guys went through. I am pissed for the families that they've been toyed with for so long. They don't even know how the girls died.
The family has no idea.
No, they won't even tell the family how it happened. The affidavit just said that they lost a lot of blood, which leads you to infer that there's blood on the clothes of whoever did this crime.
Oh.
Like I said, speculation again. People think that they got their throats cut.
Man.
Really?
Yeah.
So not shot.
No, there was one unspent bullet.
Just the one bullet.
And they said, killers often leave a special like kind of trademark for their killing. There was an investigator that is not working this case that has talked to people who are involved with the case, and he goes, I can't tell you exactly what they were, but he goes, there were at least like 3 special trademarks left in this case. They go, it's very peculiar. We've never seen anything like it. The bodies were staged and memorialized for possible photos, so we don't know if they found the photos at Richard Allen's place either, but...
That's the part that speaks to if there is a larger pedophile ring
Like a
involved.
cabal or
Well,
something.
think about Rose Petal murders. Those were connected to an entire cabal of 40-something people that were arrested in the same area. It's very weird how these freaks just can find each other
Yeah.
and just
They're just
take over
it's
a town.
Quiet, weird town, and they grow up there and they know each other, and so there's something linking all these people.
And everyone was so nice. Like everyone I met was extremely nice. When I pulled over to look at a couple things on one of the roads, 2 people pulled over to be like, do you need help? Do you need us to restart your car or anything? I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you, though. Everyone at that bar was awesome at the Brick and Mortar Pub. If you're ever in Delphi, go support them. They're amazing. But I can see how someone very sinister would pick a town like that where it's all very nice people and you can just kind of blend in and fuck with them.
Things go on in the middle of this country that will scare the shit out of you. And
Yeah.
like these are just the things we do hear about. There's so much other stuff that there's just weird things. People go missing. Yeah. Not to say that doesn't happen out here, but it's just
Yeah, but it's almost expected in the cities,
yes.
True.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, last month I got takeout from the Habit Burger. And that
Shout out
Citizen...
Howard Burger.
Big ups.
That Citizen app?
Yeah.
Well, like 20 minutes later, I get a ping from it, and it says, man mugged outside Habit Burger.
Yeah.
That could have been you.
It's like every day. It's like bing, 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 bing in
Yeah.
LA. It's like, man stabbed inside your apartment. What the fuck?
You look around and look down, you got a big knife hanging.
Who did this to me? And how did they know before I did?
You get another ping, guy got stabbed complaining about it.
Yeah, you get a message, look behind you.
Yeah. Guy's kind of a little bitch. Snap has like some attitude.
But yeah, Indiana, that's a lot of crazy shit happened in Indiana.
Yeah.
It's where Woody Harrelson got his start, went to college and met Mike Pence.
That's right.
Where Mike Pence had those big, long gray dreads.
Big
remember?
gray dreadlocks. Shout out to last episode.
Last episode.
And of course, Michael Jackson is from Indiana.
Oh, no.
Wait, is he?
Yeah.
What's that town from?
The name of his town?
Yeah.
Michael Jacksonville?
Yeah. There is a name for it. I can't remember it, but yeah.
I'll look it up. And
that is
update
crazy that
y'all
the
later.
Jacksons are from Indiana.
Yes. But they are not from Delphi, Indiana.
I looked it up. Gary, Indiana is where
The Jacksons, yeah.
Michael Jackson came from.
Not
Yeah.
to be confused with Erie, Indiana, which is a great TV show.
Oh.
It was like a Twilight Zone for kids.
And not to be confused with Gary, one of Michael Jackson's little friends
Oh, God. Here we
he
go.
made later in life. Anyway,
Oh, God.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So that's the whole
That's
story.
a great ending.
Let us
Alejandro.
know who you think did it, what happened, what's going on with these friggin' Snapchat profiles, and, you know.
Give us all your hot takes online.
Yeah.
We like reading YouTube comments and iTunes. Please give us a nice review there. Give us 5 stars. You know,
Yes.
give us what, if you want to say Kyle is the actual killer here and give us 5 stars, do it, you know?
we have a new review, Mark. Do you want to read it?
Sure, I'd
This
love
is
to.
from Apple Podcasts.
A new 5-star.
Speaking of the devil, from the username running_mama808.
All right.
It was, hello, love this podcast, 5 stars. Thank you so much, running mama 808.
Running Mama.
Running mama,
Yeah.
mama be running. Thank
So, and everyone here should be running to YouTube, iTunes, podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts,
TikTok,
Spotify, TikTok, Instagram.
Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon. That's a big one.
Patreon. Like I said, we have an extra hour-long podcast about John Mark Carr.
It's hot.
And our dealings with that mother effer.
It's scorching hot. We had actual direct dealings with this maniac.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's really it. We love you guys.
And until next time.
Don't go dying on us.
You have just heard.
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures
Nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.